Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that the last 10 minutes before you fall asleep tonight could completely transform your entire life? That these precious moments, when your conscious mind finally quiets down, are actually the most powerful gateway to manifesting miracles in every single area of your existence. Most people waste these crucial moments scrolling through their phones or letting their minds race with tomorrow's worries. But ancient wisdom teaches us something profound. When we properly prepare our consciousness before sleep, we activate forces within us that most people never even know exist. Tonight, you're going to discover how to turn your sleep into a miracle-attracting machine. Here's what nobody talks about in our fast-paced world. We've completely forgotten how to transition from the chaos of daily life into the sacred space of rest. We jump from answering emails straight into bed, carrying all the stress, anxiety, and mental clutter from our day directly into our sleep. This isn't just bad for our rest. It's blocking us from accessing the most powerful manifestation window we have. Think about it. Your subconscious mind processes information 8 times faster when you're in that twilight state between waking and sleeping. This is when your brain waves shift from beta to alpha then to theta, the same frequency that master meditators spent years learning to access. Yet, most of us completely ignore this gift. The ancient masters understood something we've lost in our modern world. They knew that the quality of your sleep doesn't just determine how you feel tomorrow. It literally shapes your reality. When you go to sleep with a cluttered mind full of problems, you're programming your subconscious to create more of those same problems. When you go to sleep with intention, clarity, and gratitude, you're setting the stage for miracles to unfold. But here's the real problem. We've been taught to think that meditation is something complicated, something that requires years of practice or special training. We've been told that attracting positive changes in our life requires complex rituals or expensive programs. This is completely wrong. The most powerful transformation happens when we return to simplicity. When we remember the basic truths that every human being already knows deep inside, releasing the day's burdens. The first step in this miraculous transformation is learning to consciously release everything you've carried from your day. This isn't just about relaxation. This is about energetic hygiene. Just like you wash your body before bed, you need to wash your consciousness. Every interaction you had today, every emotion you experienced, every thought that crossed your mind, all of this creates an energetic residue that clings to your awareness. If you don't consciously release this, you're sleeping in yesterday's energy, which means you're going to wake up in yesterday's reality. Think about how heavy you feel at the end of a difficult day. That weight isn't just physical tiredness. It's the accumulation of stress hormones, emotional reactions, and mental tension that builds up hour by hour. When someone cuts you off in traffic, that flash of anger doesn't just disappear. When you have a frustrating conversation with a colleague, that irritation lingers in your nervous system. When you worry about paying bills or meeting deadlines, that anxiety creates actual chemical changes in your body that can last for hours. Most people carry this invisible burden into their bedroom, into their sacred space of rest and renewal. They wonder why they can't fall asleep easily, why they wake up feeling unrested, or why they have strange chaotic dreams. The answer is simple. They're trying to sleep while carrying the entire weight of their day on their shoulders. The practice is simple but profound. As you lie in bed, imagine that your body is like a vessel that has been collecting water all day. Some of this water is pure and nourishing, the moments of joy, connection, and growth. But some of this water has become murky with stress, frustration, and negative thoughts. You don't need to judge this murky water or feel bad about it. It's natural that living in the world creates some contamination in our energy field. The key is learning to consciously cleanse yourself before sleep. Close your eyes and visualize this murky water slowly draining out through your feet. See it leaving your body, completely taking with it every worry about deadlines, every frustration from difficult conversations, every fear about the future. Watch as this dark, heavy energy flows out of you and into the earth where it can be The earth is an incredible recycling system. It takes our waste and transforms it into soil that grows beautiful flowers and nourishing food. As you practice this visualization, you might notice physical sensations. Your muscles might suddenly relax in ways you didn't even realize they were tense. Your jaw might unclench, your shoulders might drop, your breathing might naturally deepen. This isn't your imagination. This is your nervous system actually releasing stored tension and returning to its natural state of peace. Some nights you might need to repeat, I 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 need to repeat several, I need to repeat this process 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 several times, I need to repeat this process several times, I need to repeat this process several times. If you've had a particularly challenging day, there might be layers of stress that need to be released. Don't rush the process. Give yourself permission to take as much time as you need. This isn't a race. It's a sacred ritual of self-care that honors both your human experience and your divine nature. You can also expand this practice to release specific emotions or memories that keep replaying in your mind. If you had an argument with someone, visualize that conversation leaving your energy field completely. If you're worried about a presentation tomorrow, see that anxiety draining away. If you're carrying guilt about something you said or didn't say, watch that heavy feeling flow out of you and into the earth where it can be transformed. Now notice how your body feels different. Notice how your breathing naturally deepens. This is your true state. Clear, peaceful, ready to receive whatever gifts the universe wants to bring you. When you sleep from this clean, clear state, your dreams become more peaceful and insightful. Your body can focus all its energy on healing and regeneration. Instead of processing leftover stress, your mind becomes available to receive inspiration, solutions, and guidance from deeper levels of consciousness. This simple practice alone will change the quality of your sleep dramatically. But we're just getting started. When you make this daily release a habit, you'll start to notice that you carry less accumulated stress from day to day. You become more resilient to life's challenges because you know you have a reliable way to cleanse yourself of whatever negativity you encounter. You sleep more deeply, wake up more refreshed, and approach each new day with greater clarity and peace. Activating gratitude as your natural state. Here's something most people get completely wrong about gratitude. They think it's something you do when actually it's something you are. Gratitude isn't a practice you perform for a few minutes. It's a frequency you tune into, a way of being that attracts more of what you appreciate. When you shift into genuine gratitude before sleep, you're not just thinking positive thoughts, you're actually rewiring your nervous system. You're training your brain to look for and recognize the abundance that's already present in your life, and what you focus on expands. The science behind this is fascinating. When you genuinely feel grateful, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, the same chemicals that antidepressant medications try to boost artificially. But unlike pills, gratitude has no negative side effects. It only creates positive changes in your mental, emotional, and physical health. Regular gratitude practice has been shown to improve sleep quality, boost immune function, reduce inflammation, and even increase longevity. But this isn't about forcing yourself to feel grateful when you don't. That kind of fake positivity actually creates more resistance. Real gratitude begins with honesty, acknowledging exactly where you are right now without judgment, and then finding something authentic to appreciate in this moment. If you're going through a difficult time, you don't need to pretend everything is perfect. You can be honest about your struggles while still finding genuine reasons to feel thankful. Maybe you're grateful that you have a warm bed to sleep in tonight, while millions of people don't. This isn't about guilt or comparing your problems to others' suffering. It's about recognizing the genuine gifts that are so common in your life that you might take them for granted. Maybe you're grateful for the breath moving through your body, keeping you alive without any effort from your conscious mind. Think about this miracle right now. Without any thought or effort on your part, oxygen is being delivered to every cell in your body. Your heart is pumping blood through thousands of miles of blood vessels. Your immune system is protecting you from countless threats you're not even aware of. Maybe you're grateful for the incredible fact that your heart has been beating perfectly every single second since before you were born. Before you took your first breath, before you learned to walk or talk or read, your heart was already working tirelessly to keep you alive. It has never taken a break, never called in sick, never asked for overtime pay. It just keeps beating faithfully, lovingly supporting your life completely. Start with what's real and immediate. Feel the weight of your body supported by your mattress. Appreciate the miracle of your senses, your ability to hear sounds, to see colors and shapes, to feel textures and temperatures. Notice how your body knows exactly how to heal itself while you sleep. How your cells regenerate, how your mind processes and integrates everything you experience today. Your body is performing millions of complex operations every second, and you don't have to manage any of it consciously. Think about the people in your life who care about you. Even if relationships are complicated, even if you've had conflicts or disappointments, there are people who would be sad if something happened to you. There are people whose lives are better because you exist. You have made someone smile, helped someone feel less alone, contributed something positive to the world just by being yourself. Consider the incredible series of events that had to happen for you to be alive right now. Your parents had to meet at exactly the right time. Their parents had to survive long enough to have children. Going back through history, thousands of your ancestors had to live long enough to reproduce, had to survive wars and famines and plagues, had to make the exact choices that led to your existence. You are the result of an unbroken chain of survival and love stretching back to the beginning of human history. As this appreciation deepens, you'll notice something beautiful happening. Instead of going to sleep from a place of lack, focusing on what went wrong, what you don't have, what needs to be different, you're entering sleep from a place of abundance. This shift is like tuning a radio to a completely different state. You're now broadcasting gratitude, which means you're going to start receiving experiences that match this frequency. When you sleep in gratitude, You program your subconscious mind to look for more things to appreciate. You wake up with a natural tendency to notice beauty, kindness, and opportunity. You become a magnet for positive experiences because your energy is aligned with appreciation rather than complaint. This isn't wishful thinking. This is how the law of attraction actually works. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. When you are gratitude, you attract more experiences that generate authentic appreciation, clearing mental static and embracing stillness. Your mind right now is probably like a radio picking up dozens of different stations at once. You've got the worried voice talking about tomorrow's meeting, the excited voice planning weekend activities, the critical voice replaying something embarrassing from 3 years ago, and the anxious voice wondering if you remember to lock the front door. This mental noise isn't just annoying. It's blocking you from accessing your deeper wisdom and intuition. It's like trying to hear a whispered secret in a crowded, noisy room. The wisdom is there. The guidance you need is always available, but you can't receive it through all the static. Most people think this constant mental chatter is normal, that having a busy mind is just part of being human. But the ancient masters understood something profound. This mental noise is not your natural state. Your essential nature is peace, stillness, and clarity. The chattering mind is like clouds covering the sun. The sun is always shining, but sometimes we can't see it because of temporary obstruction. The modern world has trained us to believe that thinking more will solve our problems, that analyzing every situation from every angle will help us make better decisions. But there's a point where thinking becomes counterproductive, where mental activity stops being helpful and starts being harmful. When you're lying in bed trying to sleep, continuing to think about your problems isn't going to solve them. It's just going to keep you awake and stressed. The ancient masters had a simple understanding about this mental chatter. You don't fight it. You don't try to stop it. And you definitely don't judge yourself for having it. Instead, you learn to observe it with the same detached curiosity you might watch clouds passing across the sky. Fighting your thoughts only creates more mental activity. Judging yourself for having a busy mind only adds another layer of noise. The path to stillness is through gentle, non-resistant awareness. Imagine your thoughts as cars driving past your house. You don't need to run outside and chase every car, demanding to know where it's going and why it's making so much noise. You simply notice them passing by. Some thoughts are like quiet electric cars. They barely register. Others are like loud motorcycles. They grab your attention for a moment, but then they're gone. You don't need to follow every thought to its logical conclusion. You don't need to solve every problem that crosses your mind. You can simply acknowledge the thought and let it pass. This is harder than it sounds because we've been conditioned to believe that every thought is important, that we need to pay attention to every mental activity. But most of our thoughts are repetitive, unproductive, and based on outdated information or imaginary problems. The average person has about 60,000 thoughts per day, and research shows that about 80% of them are negative and 95% of them are repetitive. Most of what goes through your mind is mental recycling. The same worries, the same complaints, the same fantasies playing over and over again. The key is remembering that you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that observes your thoughts. This awareness, this consciousness that can watch your mind thinking, this is your true self. This is the part of you that remains calm and centered no matter what chaos is happening in your mental world. Even when your thoughts are racing, even when you're worried or excited or confused, there's a part of you that can step back and watch all of this mental activity with peaceful detachment. This awareness is like space itself. It's not affected by whatever passes through it. Clouds don't damage the sky. Birds flying don't leave permanent marks in the air. Thunder doesn't hurt the silence that exists before and after the sound. Your awareness is like the space, vast, unaffected, always present, always peaceful. Your thoughts and emotions are like weather patterns passing through this inner space, but they don't define you or control you unless you identify with them. As you practice this gentle observation, something magical begins to happen. The spaces between thoughts start to grow longer. Instead of one thought immediately triggering another thought, You start to notice gaps of pure awareness, moments of perfect stillness where no thoughts are present at all. These spaces of pure awareness, these moments of perfect stillness are where miracles are born. In this quietness, you reconnect with your essential nature, the part of you that is inherently peaceful, wise, and connected to everything. In these still moments, solutions appear that your thinking mind could never have figured out. Creative inspirations arise spontaneously. You remember important things you had forgotten. You gain clarity about situations that seemed confusing when you were thinking about them. This is because stillness is not empty. It's full of infinite potential, infinite wisdom, infinite love. When you stop adding your own mental noise to the situation, you can finally hear the gentle voice of your deeper intelligence, aligning with your heart's true desires. Now we come to the most important part, connecting with what your soul actually wants to experience. Not what you think you should want, not what others expect you to want, but what makes your heart sing when nobody else is watching. Most people spend their entire lives chasing goals that were never really theirs to begin with. They work toward careers that look impressive but feel empty. They pursue relationships that seem perfect on paper but lack genuine connection. They accumulate possessions that society says will make them happy but leave them feeling more hollow than before. This is why so many people feel lost even when they're successful. Why they feel empty even when they have everything they thought they wanted. They've been climbing the ladder of achievement, but the ladder is leaning against the wrong wall. Think about how many times you've heard someone say they finally got the job they always wanted, only to discover it doesn't fulfill them the way they expected, or they bought the house they dreamed of, only to feel just as restless and unsatisfied as before. This isn't because they're ungrateful or because there's something wrong with them. It's because they were pursuing someone else's definition of success instead of their own authentic path. From the time we're children, we're told what we should want. Get good grades, go to college, find a stable job, get married, buy a house, have kids, save for retirement. These aren't necessarily bad goals. But when we adopt them without questioning whether they align with our true nature, we end up living someone else's life. We become actors playing a role that was written for us by society, our families, or our own fears about what's safe and acceptable. Your heart knows the difference. Your heart knows what brings you alive, what fills you with genuine excitement and purpose. But your heart speaks in whispers. And if your mind is constantly chattering with shoulds and have to, you'll never hear these subtle messages. Your authentic desires often get buried under layers of conditioning, practicality, and you might have dreams that seem too big, too risky, or too different from what people expect from someone like you. Maybe as a child you loved to draw, but you were taught that art isn't a real career. Maybe you felt called to help people, but you were convinced that you needed to make money first. Maybe you dreamed of traveling the world, but you were taught that security is more important than adventure. Over time, these authentic impulses get quieter and quieter until you can barely hear them anymore. In the stillness you've created through the previous foundations, you can finally hear your heart's true voice again. Ask yourself this simple question, not with your mind, but with your whole being. What would make my soul feel most alive? Don't think about it. Don't analyze it. Don't worry about whether it's practical or possible. Just listen. Let the first response that comes up be heard without judgment. Maybe the answer surprises you. Maybe it's something you've been ignoring because it seems too simple, too risky, or too different from what you've been told you should want. Maybe it's a career change that would require going back to school. Maybe it's moving to a different city or country. Maybe it's starting a creative project that has no guarantee of success. Maybe it's healing a relationship that you've given up on. Maybe it's learning something new that has nothing to do with advancing your current career. Trust what comes up. Your heart's desires aren't random. They're pointing you toward your highest path. These authentic longings are like breadcrumbs leading you toward the life you're meant to live. They're not just personal preferences or fleeting whims. They're expressions of your soul's purpose, your unique contribution to the world, your reason for being here. This doesn't mean you need to quit your job tomorrow or make drastic changes without proper planning. It means you start honoring these authentic impulses instead of dismissing them. You begin to see them as valuable guidance rather than unrealistic fantasies. You might start taking small steps in the direction of your true desires while still maintaining your current responsibilities. When you begin to align your daily choices with your heart's authentic desires, something magical happens. You stop feeling like you're swimming against the current of life and start flowing with it. Opportunities appear that support your true path. People come into your life who share similar values and dreams. Resources become available that you never noticed before. This isn't coincidence. This is what happens when you stop fighting against your own nature and start working with it. The key is learning to distinguish between authentic desires and ego-driven wants. Authentic desires come from a deep place of knowing and usually involve some form of service or creative expression. They feel right in your body even if they're scary to your mind. Ego-driven wants often come from a place of lack, wanting to prove something, impress others, or fill an emotional void. They might feel exciting at first, but they don't have the same deep resonance as authentic soul desires. This isn't about fantasy or wishful thinking. This is about remembering who you really are beneath all the layers of conditioning and expectation. When you align your intentions with your soul's authentic desires, you stop swimming against the current of life and start flowing with it. This is when miracles stop being rare exceptions and start becoming your natural experience, programming your subconscious for miraculous outcomes. Here's where we get into the real magic. Your subconscious mind is like an incredibly powerful computer that's running constantly, even while you sleep. The problem is most people are unconsciously programming this computer with worry, fear, and limitation all day long. Every time you think I can't afford that, you're programming your subconscious for scarcity. Every time you say nothing ever works out for me, you're creating a mental program that ensures things don't work out. Every time you focus on what's wrong in your life, you're instructing your subconscious to find more problems. Your subconscious mind is incredibly literal and doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's imagined, between what's happening now and what you're remembering from the past or projecting into the future. It simply takes whatever you feed it most consistently and works tirelessly to create more of the same in your external reality. If you consistently feed it thoughts of struggle, limitation, and fear, it will orchestrate circumstances that confirm these beliefs. If you consistently feed it thoughts of abundance, possibility, and love, it will work to manifest experiences that match this higher frequency. Most people are completely unaware of this programming process. They think their thoughts are just random mental activity with no real impact on their lives. They don't realize that every thought is like a seed planted in the fertile soil of their subconscious mind. Some seeds grow into beautiful flowers and nourishing fruits. Others grow into weeds that choke out the good things they're trying to create. But here's the beautiful truth. You can consciously choose what programs you install in your mental computer. The moments before sleep are when your subconscious is most receptive to new programming. This is when your critical, analytical mind finally relaxes its guard, allowing new beliefs and possibilities to take root. Scientists have discovered that the brainwaves you experience just before sleep are the same frequencies that occur during deep meditation and hypnotic states, times when the subconscious is most open to suggestion and change. The key is to speak to your subconscious in its own language. Your subconscious doesn't understand complex reasoning or future tense. It responds to simple present tense statements and vivid mental imagery. Instead of saying, "I hope I'll have more money someday," you program it by saying, "I'm grateful for the abundance flowing into my life right now." Instead of, "Maybe I'll find love eventually," you say, "I am worthy of deep, meaningful love and it's finding me now." But here's what most people miss. It's not enough to just repeat positive affirmations. Like a robot, your subconscious can sense whether you actually believe what you're saying. If there's no genuine feeling behind your words, they're just empty sounds bouncing around in your head. Your subconscious responds to emotion and conviction, not just words. You need to feel the truth of what you're saying, even if your logical mind doesn't understand how it could be possible. The secret is to start with statements that feel believable to you right now. Then gradually expand from there. Instead of trying to convince yourself you're a millionaire when you're struggling to pay bills, start with something like, I'm open to receiving unexpected opportunities, or I trust that solutions are appearing in my life. These statements don't trigger resistance because they feel possible and true. As you repeat these statements, allow yourself to feel what it would be like if they were absolutely true. Don't worry about how they could be true. Just imagine the feeling of living in a reality where abundance, love, health, and joy are flowing naturally in your life. What would it feel like to wake up excited about your day? What would it feel like to have work that energizes rather than drains you? What would it feel like to be surrounded by people who appreciate and support you? The more vividly you can imagine these positive scenarios, the more real they become to your subconscious mind. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. When you consistently imagine positive outcomes with genuine feeling, you're literally rehearsing success in your mind. You are training your nervous system to expect good things, which makes you more likely to notice opportunities and take actions that lead to positive results. This isn't just wishful thinking. This is how elite athletes train their minds for peak performance. They spend hours visualizing perfect execution of their skills, imagining themselves winning competitions, feeling the emotions of success before it happens in reality. This mental rehearsal creates neural pathways that make actual success more likely when they're competing. You can use this same principle to program your subconscious for success in any area of your life. Whether you want to improve your health, relationships, career, or financial situation, you can use the powerful programming window before sleep to install new beliefs and expectations that support your goals, surrendering control and trusting the process. This might be the most challenging aspect for many people, especially in our control-obsessed culture. We've been taught that if we want something to happen, we need to figure out exactly how to make it happen and then force it into existence through sheer willpower and relentless effort. We've been conditioned to believe that success comes from grinding harder, working longer, and controlling every variable in our environment. This approach sometimes works in the short term, but it's exhausting and ultimately unsustainable. But the ancient masters understood a profound paradox. The harder you grasp for something, the more likely it is to slip through your fingers. The more desperately you need something to happen, the more you push it away. This isn't some mystical mumbo-jumbo. This is basic human psychology and energy dynamics. When you're attached to outcomes, when you're constantly worried about whether things will work out, you're actually broadcasting a frequency of lack and desperation. Think about how people respond to desperation in relationships. When someone is clingy, needy, and constantly seeking reassurance, it pushes others away. When someone is confident, self-contained, and genuinely happy, whether the relationship works out or not, they become magnetic. The same principle applies to every area of life. Money, opportunities, health, creative inspiration. The energy of grasping and forcing repels what you want, while the energy of trust and allowing attracts it. When you are attached to specific outcomes, you're essentially telling the universe, I don't trust you. I don't believe good things can come to me easily. I think I need to struggle and control everything. This creates a vibration of fear and limitation that blocks the natural flow of abundance and opportunity. You become so focused on making things happen in exactly the way you think they should that you miss the unexpected gifts and opportunities that are trying to reach you. Surrender doesn't mean giving up or becoming passive. True surrender is active trust. It's saying I've clarified what I want. I've aligned my thoughts and feelings with my desires. And now I trust the intelligence that moves the planets and grows the trees to orchestrate the perfect circumstances for my highest goal. It's taking inspired action when opportunities appear, but releasing attachment to exactly how and when things unfold. Think about it. You don't control your heartbeats perfectly. You don't consciously direct your immune system, yet it protects you from countless threats every day. You don't control your digestion, yet your body transforms food into energy flawlessly. You don't control the sunrise, yet the sun appears every morning exactly when it should. There's an intelligence operating in this universe that's far more sophisticated than your conscious mind could ever be. This same intelligence that orchestrates the movement of galaxies, And the changing of seasons is also orchestrating the circumstances of your life. It knows things your logical mind could never figure out. It can see connections and possibilities that are invisible from your limited perspective. It can arrange synchronicities and opportunities that would be impossible for you to create through force and effort alone. But this intelligence can only work through you when you stop trying to micromanage every detail. When you're constantly controlling, forcing, and manipulating, you're actually blocking the flow of natural support and guidance. It's like trying to pedal upstream. You might make some progress, but it's unnecessarily difficult and exhausting. When you surrender control, you open yourself to possibilities you never could have imagined, solutions you never would have thought of, and opportunities that are perfectly aligned with your deepest needs. You might discover that the job rejection you thought was devastating actually freed you up for something much better. You might find that a relationship that ended opened space for a deeper, more authentic connection. You might realize that the financial challenge you're facing is pushing you toward a more fulfilling and sustainable way of making money. Surrender is ultimately about recognizing that you are part of something infinitely larger and wiser than your individual self. It's about trusting that this larger intelligence loves you unconditionally and wants your highest good even more than you do. When you align with this truth, you stop fighting against life and start dancing with it. You become a cooperative partner in the creation of your reality rather than trying to be the sole director of the show. Cultivating compassion for yourself and others. Here's something that will radically accelerate your ability to attract miracles. Learning to extend genuine compassion to every part of yourself, especially the parts you've been trying to hide or change. Most people are walking around with internal war happening. They're constantly judging themselves, criticizing their appearance, their performance, their past mistakes. They're carrying guilt about things they did or didn't do years ago. They're disappointed in themselves for not being further along in life. This internal conflict creates a massive energy drain and blocks the natural flow of good things into your life. Think about how much mental energy you spend every day in self-criticism. You wake up and immediately start judging how you look in the mirror. You criticize yourself for not getting up earlier, for not being more productive yesterday, for not having your life more together by now. Throughout the day, you carry on a running commentary about everything you're doing wrong, everything you should be doing differently, everything that's lacking about your current situation. This isn't just harmless self-reflection. This is violence against your own soul. Every harsh word you speak to yourself, every critical judgment you make about your appearance or performance, every time you compare yourself unfavorably to others, all of this creates actual stress in your nervous system. It triggers the same fight-or-flight response as if someone else were attacking you, flooding your body with stress hormones and keeping you in a chronic state of tension and anxiety. The truth is, you can't hate yourself into a better life. You can't criticize yourself into positive change. You can't punish yourself into perfection. All of that resistance and self-judgment just creates more of what you don't want. When you're constantly telling yourself you're not good enough, your subconscious mind hears this as an instruction and works to prove you right. When you're always focusing on your flaws and failures, you train your brain to look for more evidence of inadequacy. Real transformation begins with radical self-acceptance. This doesn't mean you can't grow or change. It means you stop making your growth dependent on rejecting who you are right now. You can love yourself exactly as you are while still being excited about who you're becoming. You can appreciate the journey you've been on while still having dreams and goals for the future. This is one of the most challenging concepts for people to understand because we've been taught that self-love is selfish, that we need to be hard on ourselves to stay motivated, that accepting ourselves as we are will make us lazy and complacent. But this is completely backwards. When you truly love and accept yourself, you naturally want to take better care of yourself. When you speak to yourself with kindness and encouragement, you have more energy available for positive change. Start by speaking to yourself the way you would speak to a beloved friend who's going through a difficult time. Would you tell your best friend they're stupid for making a mistake? Would you constantly remind them of their flaws and shortcomings? Would you tell them they're worthless because they haven't achieved all their goals yet? Of course not. You'd offer encouragement, understanding, and support. You'd remind them of their strengths and past successes. You'd help them see the situation from a more balanced perspective. Extend this same kindness to yourself. When you notice self-critical thoughts arising, gently redirect. Instead of "I'm so lazy for not exercising today," try "I'm learning to take better care of my body and tomorrow is a new opportunity." Instead of "I always mess everything up," try "I'm human. I'm learning and I'm doing the best I can with what I know right now." Instead of "I'll never be successful," try "I'm growing and improving every day." And success comes in many different forms. This isn't about lying to yourself or pretending problems don't exist. It's about approaching your challenges from a place of love rather than fear, encouragement rather than criticism. When you're kind to yourself, you create the emotional safety that's necessary for real growth and change. When you're harsh and critical, you activate your defensive mechanisms and make positive change much more difficult. This compassion naturally extends to others as well. When you stop being so hard on yourself, you automatically become less judgmental of other people. You start seeing everyone as fellow travelers, all doing their best to navigate this complex human experience. You realize that the person who cut you off in traffic might be having a terrible day. The co-worker who seems difficult might be dealing with personal struggles you know nothing about. The family member who triggers you might be acting from their own unhealed wounds. This shift in perspective opens your heart and raises your vibration, making you a magnet for positive experiences. When you approach the world with compassion instead of judgment, people feel safer around you. They're more likely to be kind, helpful, and generous. You start attracting relationships and opportunities that match your compassionate energy. This isn't just feel-good philosophy. This is practical wisdom that will transform every area of your life. Compassion is ultimately about recognizing the shared humanity in everyone you encounter. We all trying to be happy to avoid suffering, to find meaning and connection. We all have fears, insecurities, and dreams. We all make mistakes and have moments of weakness. When you remember this fundamental truth, judgment dissolves and is replaced by understanding, kindness, and genuine love, connecting with universal wisdom. As your mind becomes still and your heart opens, you begin to access something that transcends your individual thinking, the infinite intelligence that permeates all of existence. Some people call this God, others call it the universe source or universal consciousness. The name doesn't matter. What matters is recognizing that you are connected to something much larger and wiser than your personal mind. This connection isn't something you need to earn or achieve through years of spiritual practice. It's your birthright as a conscious being. Every time you've had a sudden insight, a perfect intuitive knowing, or a moment of clarity that seemed to come from nowhere, that was this universal wisdom flowing through you. Think back to moments in your life when you just knew something without being able to explain how you knew it. Maybe you had a feeling about a person you just met that turned out to be accurate. Maybe you made a decision that seemed risky but felt absolutely right, and it led to something wonderful. Maybe you found a perfect solution to a problem while you weren't even thinking about it. These weren't random coincidences or lucky guesses. These were moments when your individual consciousness aligned with universal intelligence, and you received guidance that was far beyond what your logical mind could have figured out. The same intelligence that you've accessed in those special moments is available to you all the time. You just need to learn how to tune into it more consistently. The challenge is learning to get out of your own way so this wisdom can guide you more consistently. Your ego mind wants to figure everything out, analyze every situation, and maintain control. It believes that if you don't think your way through every problem, you'll make mistakes and things will go wrong. But your higher intelligence operates through inspiration, synchronicity, and gentle inner guidance that often doesn't make logical sense until you look back and see how perfectly everything unfolded. Your logical mind is like a computer. It can process information, compare options, and solve problems based on past experience and known facts. But universal wisdom is like having access to the internet of consciousness. It can draw from infinite intelligence, see connections you could never imagine, and guide you toward outcomes that serve your highest good and the good of everyone. In the quiet space before sleep, when your analytical mind finally relaxes its grip, you can consciously open yourself to this guidance. You can ask questions not just with your mind, but with your whole being. What do I need to know? What's the next step for my highest good? How can I serve in the world? What wants to emerge in my life? Then listen with your heart rather than your head. This listening is different from thinking or analyzing. It's a receptive state where you simply remain open and aware, allowing whatever wants to come through to arise naturally. Don't try to force answers or make something happen. Just ask your question and then rest in the stillness, trusting that whatever you need to know will be revealed in the perfect way and timing. The answers don't always come in words. Sometimes they come as feelings. A sense of excitement about a particular direction. A feeling of peace about the decision you need to make. An intuitive knowing that something is right or wrong for you. Sometimes they come as images or symbols that carry meaning beyond what words could express. Sometimes they come as sudden knowing. You just wake up one morning with clarity about something that was confusing before. Often the guidance comes through your external circumstances. Maybe you keep running into people who mention the same opportunity. Maybe you see the same book recommended multiple times by different sources. Maybe doors keep opening in one direction while closing in another. Maybe you feel drawn to learn about something new, take a different road to work, or call someone you haven't talked to in years. And these impulses lead to unexpected opportunities or connections. When you're truly listening, you'll start to notice that life is constantly communicating with you, constantly offering guidance and support. The universe is always speaking to you through your intuition, through synchronicities, through the people who come into your life, through the challenges that push you to grow, and through the opportunities that align with your highest path. This isn't about losing your individuality or becoming passive. Your unique personality, talents, and perspective are valuable gifts that the universe wants to express through you. It's about recognizing that you're part of something magnificent. And when you align with this larger intelligence, your individual gifts can be expressed in their most powerful and beneficial way. You don't have to figure out your entire life path or understand exactly how everything will unfold. You just need to stay connected to this inner guidance and take the next step that feels right. Trust that the intelligence that created galaxies and orchestrates the perfect timing of seasons also knows exactly how to guide your life toward your highest good and greatest joy. Embodying miracle consciousness, the final foundation brings everything together. Learning to live in a state of miracle consciousness where extraordinary positive experiences become your natural way of being. This isn't about believing in magic or fairy tales. This is about understanding that what most people consider miraculous is actually the natural result of aligning with universal principle. A miracle is simply a shift in perception that allows you to see and experience reality from a higher perspective. When you're stuck in fear, limitation, and separation, you experience life as a struggle where good things are rare and hard to come by. When you shift into love, abundance, and connection, you experience life as a friendly universe that's constantly conspiring to support your highest good. This shift isn't something that happens once and then you're done. It's a daily choice, a moment-by-moment practice of choosing love over fear, trust over control, gratitude over complaint. Every time you make this choice, you strengthen your miracle consciousness and make it easier to access this state naturally. The beautiful thing is the more you embody this consciousness, the more you inspire others to remember their own divine nature. You become a walking example of what's possible when someone chooses to live from their highest self. Your peace becomes contagious, your joy uplifts others, your trust in life gives others permission to trust as well. This is how real change happens in the world. Not through force or argument, but through embodiment. When you live as an example of miracle consciousness, you give everyone around you permission to step into their own power and potential. As you prepare for sleep tonight and every night moving forward, remember that you're not just resting your body. You're entering a sacred space of transformation. These 9 foundations aren't just concepts to think about. They're practices to embody ways of being that will reshape your entire experience of life. The miraculous life you desire isn't somewhere far away waiting for you to become worthy of it. It's available right here, right now, in this moment. Every breath you take is a miracle. Every heartbeat is a gift. Every opportunity to love, to grow, to contribute something beautiful to the world is a sacred privilege. Your only job is to remember who you really are beneath all the conditioning, and a divine being having a human experience connected to infinite wisdom and love, capable of creating beauty and joy wherever you go. As you close your eyes tonight, carry this truth with you into your dreams. You are not lost, you are not broken, and you are not behind. You are exactly where you are meant to be, even if it doesn't feel like it right now. There is a rhythm to life, a timing that often makes no sense until you see it in hindsight. And tonight, as you surrender to rest, allow yourself to believe that there is a bigger plan unfolding for you, one that requires you to pause, to breathe, and to trust. When you sleep, you give up control. The world quiets down and your soul takes center stage. Your mind, busy with all its doubts, fears, and endless to-do lists, finally gets a chance to rest. And in that rest, something powerful happens. Healing begins. Your body repairs itself, your mind organizes your thoughts, and your spirit whispers to you in ways you can't always hear during the chaos of the day. This is why tonight matters. It's more than just sleep. It's a sacred reset. So as you lie down, carry this truth with you into your dreams. You are growing even when you feel like you're standing still. Seeds don't sprout the moment they hit the soil. They take time. They need darkness before they break through into the light. And the same is true for you. The things you're praying for, the changes you're craving, the breakthroughs you're waiting on, they are already on their way. But like any seed, they require patience. They need you to trust the process even when you can't see the roots forming. Let tonight be a turning point. Instead of going to bed with worry, go to bed with faith. Instead of replaying all the things that went wrong today, start imagining everything that could go right tomorrow. Because what you feed your mind before you sleep matters. If you feed it fear, you wake up heavy. If you feed it hope, you wake up light. And you deserve to wake up light. Imagine your dreams as fertile soil. Everything you think, everything you believe, everything you whisper to yourself before you close your eyes. Some people go to sleep planting seeds of doubt and wonder why they wake up with anxiety. But you can choose differently. You can plant seeds of courage, love, and abundance. You can decide right now that as you drift off, you are watering the life you want, not the one you fear. And here's the miracle. Your subconscious mind keeps working while you sleep. The ideas you've been searching for, the clarity you've been craving, the courage you've been lacking so often, they come after a good night's rest because your mind finally has space to. How many times have you woken up with a solution you didn't have the night before? That's not an accident. That's the power of rest, the power of trust, the power of letting go long enough for the answers to come to you. So tonight, as you close your eyes, release the weight you've been carrying. You don't have to figure it all out right now. You don't have to fix every problem before morning. You don't have to earn your worth by staying up worrying. You are worthy simply because you exist. You are loved simply because you breathe. And you are guided even when you can't see the way. Let that sink in as you fall asleep. Let it fill every corner of your consciousness until there's no room left for fear. Imagine yourself waking up tomorrow with a lighter heart, a clearer mind, and a stronger spirit. Because when you rest with faith, you rise with power. And remember, this transformation doesn't happen in a single moment. It's a series of small shifts, tiny decisions, and quiet acts of faith that add up over time. Tonight is one of those moments. By choosing to rest with hope instead of fear, you are choosing to water the seeds of the life you've been dreaming of. So sleep well tonight. Trust that the universe, God, life, whatever name you give it, is already moving things in your favor. The connections you need, the opportunities you've been waiting for, the healing your heart has been craving, it's all aligning, even if you can't see it yet. And when you wake up tomorrow, carry this peace with you. Take one small step in faith. Speak one kind word to yourself. Do one thing that moves you closer to the life you want. That's how transformation happens, one moment, one choice, one act of courage at a time. So close your eyes now. Let the day go. Let the worry go. Let the fear go. And trust that as you sleep, The seeds of truth are taking root, growing into the miraculous life that's already